Hi, this is Ed. I'm a TA for Cyber Physical Systems Security, CS6263 at Georgia Tech, and I'm going to take a look at FactoryIO and in particular look at some of the features that you may have to use for mini project number one. The primary component that we're going to take a look at is the RFID reader, but we'll also take a look just at FactoryIO in general and probably run across some of the other use of some of the other actuators and sensors. And so I've already started up FactoryIO, went online, downloaded it, and the first thing I'm going to do is just go to the documentation, and what I'm most interested in is the parts. And the reason for that is I want to be able to see what types of inputs and outputs we have available for the sensors, and in particular, I'm going to look at the RFID reader. And doing this, I'm actually not going to, I'm just going to drop an RFID reader on the ground. So I am, over here I have FactoryIO running, and then I have ControlIO, and it's just one piece of software, FactoryIO. ControlIO is the controller for FactoryIO, and so when we refer to things like the scene, this is the scene right here. So everything that we have that we see in FactoryIO is a part of the scene, and then the controller is what you're going to be working on. So you'll have to assemble make use of the tags that come from the scene, and we'll take a look at that. So again, this is the scene. We do ask, well, it's more than ask. You shouldn't modify the scene. Modifying the scene will cause the grading to fail miserably. So we have different components in the scene, different sensors, and any movement of those while you're assembling your controller is going to cause the grading to go miserably, and unfortunately will result in really bad grades because we're grading the scene based on what we supplied. So I'm going to rewind just a bit here, and I think it's helpful to use FactoryIO. We'll just start it independently. I don't have anything in my scene. This is just for the purposes of learning, so it's probably not going to be the way that you're definitely not going to modify the scene, but if you wanted to learn, start up a new instance, and you could use that to figure out what some of the sensors and actuators do and how to use them. So I just did a search for RFID, and I'm just going to take this RFID reader and put it on the ground. I'm going to back out a little bit in the view, and I do that by using the mouse wheel. There's other ways, keyboard shortcuts, but I like to use the mouse wheel so I could see where the proximity of detection is for the RFID reader. And so I'm going to click on the RFID reader. I'll go over here in ControlIO, and I could see now that I've dropped that reader down on the ground, I have, or in the scene, I have different options available to me for controlling this RFID reader. So as part of our scene, we also have well, we have an emitter. An emitter emits boxes. I think for my sake, as opposed to what I was doing yesterday, dropping things out of the emitter, I'm just going to take a little box, put it on the ground, and so if you look in the corner of this box right here, we have RFID tag. So now that I have RFID reader, I'm just going to move it just a hair, and a box. I should be able to assemble the ControlIO controller so that I can read from that box and write to it. And in particular, I'm actually reading and writing to this RFID tag. But take the box and I'll move it within the range of the sensor. And as of yet, I literally don't have anything for my controller. So pressing play up in this up here is actually not doing anything. I don't have any controller, so press stop again. And my goal is just to be able to write a value to this RFID tag and then to read from it. So to do that, I'm going to take a look at the documentation. And earlier I went to the RFID reader, and I'm just looking up what I can do with the different tag elements. So